Yeah, it's been a minute since your boy Scare Alvarez was here with one of his skill sessions, but here we are. Hope everyone's enjoying their summer, and I certainly am. Uh, Living the good life on my wine island with the love of my life, Cindy, and some of the DJ guys. Let's be honest, we're getting some good parties going there. Anyway, this is Scary Alvarez podcast. Wine Island Enjoyer, Sherry Wine Destroyer, Jake's Grandpa, and Cindy's Plus One when she'll have me. And I'm excited to be here today with a 2024 preview of sorts. And I'm going to do a few of these on my skull session. But today's is one thing that scares the shit out of me about every team we're playing. A little bit of a stretch on a couple of these, but this is a daunting 2024 schedule for the Badgers, as you'll see. And I intrepidly went through every game and tried to figure out one thing that scared me about it, and I had no trouble with several of them. So let's get started. Western Michigan, the launching pad of PJ Fleck, as some say it, the cradle of row the boat. Uh, this is a game Wisconsin should win. I give it about a 97% chance of victory. I mean, those MAC teams can be a little tricky, but Jalen Buckley, the 2023 freshman of the year in the MAC, real high quality running back, is the kind of guy that could, if he hits a few seams, make things a little tough on you. So that's a name that keeps me up. South Dakota FCS team. I sometimes, like other people, maybe have a little trouble keeping them all together. South Dakota, North Dakota State, North Dakota, South Dakota State. They're all good. And this is no exception. They made the second round of the FCS playoffs. I think that was the quarterfinals last season behind a really, really stout offense. The defense wasn't quite as good, but FCS playoffs is what keeps me up. This is not a bad team. Wisconsin should handle them, but it's not a bad team. Alabama, some of you might have heard of them. Alabama Crimson Tide coming up to Madison in Game 3 in early September. I had a tough one deciding which one here scared me more. New coach Kellen DeBoer or Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback Jalen Milroe. I'll say yes, they both do. Terrifying. That's going to be a real important game, real benchmark, watershed game early in Luke Fickell's second full season to see where the Badgers are. Are they ready for prime time or are they not? I think the Alabama Crimson Tide, and not a bad addition of them, to be sure, will be a good measuring stick for that. All right, the next one is USC, and I think people are maybe being a little overconfident with just how ripe the Trojans are for picking here in 2024. And this is a guy who can recruit the hell out of things running that program right now. And I really think it's going to be a pretty strong team. One of the areas, of course, that everyone was piling on in past years is the defense. And the new safety coach, actually, for the Badgers was the defensive coordinator, Alex Grinch. Uh, they have a new guy in town, new sheriff in town, Deanton Lynn, late of UCLA, as their DC. And people are pretty, I don't know, saying it high on it might not be the right word, but SC fans are excited about what he can bring. And I'd say most of them would say even an average defense would be an upgrade. And so Deanton Lynn is the name that scares me for USC right now. It's going to be a tough game down there. Purdue haven't beaten Wisconsin since 2003. What scares me is that simple mathematics says that teams are due eventually. There's nothing particular about the 2024 Purdue Boilermakers that scares me. A home game for Wisconsin against that team should be an easy one to handle. But again, they haven't beaten Wisconsin since 2003, a 20-year winning streak for the Badgers. It's just, makes me a little bit nervous. At Rutgers, Greg Schiano, that's who I fear. I think it's pretty clear that he's building. Well, it's not going to be a powerhouse, I don't think. He's building a really, really strong program in Piscataway. And there's a lot to like about this Rutgers team. I don't personally like Schiano. I think he's kind of a dick, but still, it's not going to be one of those games where Mertz and the crew walked in there and came out 52-3 winner. It's not going to be one of those kind of games. It's going to be a dogfight. So Rutgers and their relatively new coach now, Greg Schiano, formerly of Rutgers, scares me. At Northwestern. Do I really need to go into why that scares me? We're going to be playing a game on a refurbished soccer field 100 feet from Lake Michigan. It's just it's one of those games that I don't think we're going to have any problem having more talent on that field than Northwestern that day. But when has that mattered in Evanston? It just hasn't mattered much. I know the last time the Badgers played them down there, we handled business. The I think it was the first game under Jim Leonard after Paul Christ had been fired. Just a dominant performance. But boy, this game scares the shit out of me. I don't know why. It's always going to be. It's never easy out there. Penn State at home. Haven't beaten them since 2011. 5-game losing streak. Nothing in particular about this Penn State team that jumps off the page. They're going to be a quality team. Aller, depending on who you talk to, could be the best quarterback in the Big Ten. Not named Dylan Gabriel, but just playing a team that you have had a real hard time beating for a long time always presents a unique challenge. I think Wisconsin will handle them this year, though. Road game against Iowa. You got a Phil Parker defense on the road. If the schedule makers, hell, it'll probably be one of those night games. If it was in Madison, it'd be an 11 a.m. game, but it's probably going to be a night game. Whatever it is, it's going to be a absolute dogfight in the trenches. The tougher team who wants it more is going to win. So I guess we'll know a lot about the Badgers. I think by the time we play this game, and we'll know more about the Badgers after the game is over. Oregon very likely to be the best team in the Big Ten. If you don't think Ohio State will be, all everything. Heisman favorite Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. The transfer, very very tough game. I do like the fact that it's in November. I do like the fact that it's at home. This is going to be a really really tricky game for the Badgers. But I'm going to say Dylan Gabriel is the thing that scares me. It could be the best quarterback Wisconsin's played in a long, long, long time. Probably since C.J. Stroud. Um, at Nebraska, again, this is another team that scares me a bit. Matt Rule is a program builder. He did so at Temple. He did so at Baylor. Absolutely, completely, dramatically turning on the fortunes of two also rans in a very short amount of time. Well, here's year two. And as much as we want Fickle to do the same thing with a mediocre Wisconsin program, Matt Rule has to do it with a subpar Nebraska program. And by all accounts, he's doing the things he needs to do to get that team into position to win games like this. Wisconsin has not lost to Nebraska either at home or on the road since the 2012 season, which of course they avenged that same season in a game they just scored another touchdown in the Big Ten championship. But yeah, Matt Rule, that's the name that scares me. He's a hell of a coach, good program builder, and that's going to be another dogfight. And finally, what scares me about the home game against PJ Fleck and the Minnesota Gophers to cap the regular season? Absolutely nothing. I'm not scared about that game at all. It's going to be a Wisconsin win. Anyway, I'm going to go more in depth into these games individually going forward, but that's just my first thought. A very, very challenging schedule, perhaps the most challenging schedule that I can recall. The Badgers facing at least the last 30 years. This is not dramatic. This is a fact. This is going to be an absolute incredible measuring stick for the state of the Fickle program. And hope we rise to the occasion. All right, Badgers. Talk to you very soon. Yeah, boy, Barry out.